Hi, California Probate Attorney Scott Grossman here, and today I'm answering the question, what does a California probate cost? Well, the lawyerly answer is to tell you it depends. It just depends on your case. But that's not really true. California has done away with any sort of hourly rates or contingency fees when it comes to a straight probate administration. Here's what that means. It means that there's an expectation that there are certain things that have to be done in every probate, no matter what it is that is going through probate. And California, decades ago, put in place something called the Statutory Fee Schedule. Now, this fee schedule applies both to the executor or the administrator, that's the person who's actually in charge of the estate, as well as the attorney for the executor or the administrator. And it's a simple calculation based on the gross value of the estate. Now, I want to emphasize gross for a moment because oftentimes people come to me and they say, well, here's what the house is worth, but there was a mortgage and mom and dad owned cars, but they still owed money on the cars. Those debts don't matter. For purposes of calculating the fees, all that matters is the gross value of the estate. So the fee schedule is simply this. It's 4% of the first $100,000 in value, 3% of the next $100,000 in value, 2% of anything between $200,000 and $1 million, 1% of anything between $1 million and $10 million. Now, the schedule actually goes on from there, but I've never had a probate estate that's been more than $10 million, so I'm not going to worry that anybody watching this isn't going to get the information that they need. Now, those are not all the costs in probate, though they are the biggest ones. During probate, I just told you, we have to find out what the gross value of the estate is. Well, that's not done by you or by me. A document called an inventory and appraisal gets put together and gets sent out to a neutral third party called the probate referee. And the probate referee is assigned by the judge in probate court. That's the person who determines what the gross value of the estate is. Well, the probate referee gets paid as well. And they get 1/10 of 1% of the value of what they appraise, and then there are certain out-of-pocket costs that they're entitled to as well. In addition to those costs, you're going to have filing fees, publication fees, and you're probably going to need some certified copies of certain documents along the way. As a rule of thumb, I tell people to anticipate they're going to spend about $1,500 on out-of-pocket costs. Now, all of this comes out of the probate estate. So that means if you say, I know I need to open probate, but I'm not sure I'm going to have all of that money available at the beginning of the case, well, you don't have to worry about it. It's not actually something that you pay yourself. This is money that comes out of the estate. Now, there are certain costs like the initial filing fee and making publication. That has to be done at the beginning of the case, and there's no way around it. So you may be asked to advance certain costs knowing that you'll be reimbursed at a later time. Hopefully you can do that. If not, oftentimes it's something that can be worked out with a probate attorney. But at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, all of these costs get paid out of the estate, not out of your pocket personally. Now, there can be other costs as well, but this doesn't come up often, so I'm going to go through this quickly. If the estate gets embroiled in litigation, then there can be something called extraordinary fees, and that is something that happens on an hourly basis, and something that I'm going to discuss separately in another video. The same thing if you need to sell a house, and there's an important distinction here. If you have what's called full authority under the Independent Administration of Estates Act, there really shouldn't be any extra charges associated with the sale of the house. If you have only limited authority under the Independent Administration of Estates Act, it's actually a more cumbersome process, and you can expect that you're going to have to pay some amount of extraordinary fees. So those are the expenses you're looking at, the costs that are associated with doing a probate in California.